absolutely. Not only that, but I think we also need to recognize that there are implications to abandoning partners who have a great sacrifice and threat actually jailed the ISIS fighters. One of the reasons why we were able to dismantle ISIS is because they were willing to host them in jails, a great personal threat to them. And obviously that situation is very tenuous. I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but I do think it's important to respond to this opportunity in Syria, because it could be an opportunity. Look, the new people that are in charge there are not going to pass an FBI background check, okay? We recognize that. These are not people we know all about, and their history, as you said, is not one that gives us comfort. That said, it is in the national interest of the United States, if possible, to have a Syria that's no longer a playground for ISIS, that respects religious minorities, ranging from Alawis all the way to Christians, that protects the Kurds, and at the same time is not a vehicle through which Iran can spread its terrorism to Hezbollah and destabilize Lebanon, not to mention what's happened in other parts. Not only is it in the national interest of the United States, it's in the national interest of virtually every nation state in the Middle East to see that come about. That is worth exploring. There is an interesting dynamic at play, and Senator Paul asked a moment ago about the impact of sanctions. I would argue that the Caesar sanctions directly contributed to the downfall of the Assad regime in many ways. We find ourselves in this interesting situation now where, because I think it was reauthorized as part of NDAA, we now have these sanctions in place against a government that no longer exists. But nonetheless, it's an opportunity for us to explore how we could use that tool, the removal of it, and others, if in fact the territory is fertile for these outcomes. There are impediments to this that go beyond simply the new people in charge. And one of them, as you pointed out, is Erdogan and what his intentions are. Right now, there's a very tenuous ceasefire with regards to the Kurds. It's important for that to be maintained. I think it's important to signal to Erdogan early, including through this hearing, that they should not view a transition in power in the U.S. as a window in which they could take advantage of to sort of violate whatever agreements are in place. Right now, what we want in Syria is stability so that we can explore what opportunities exist to bring a different dynamic, because it would have an impact on Lebanon, on Israel, on the situation in Gaza, and on the broader Middle East. And to walk away from an opportunity that may not come back. By the way, the Russians have been run out of there, the Iranians have been run out of there, but they are pragmatic foreign policy operators. If we don't explore these opportunities, they will work their way back in there at some point.